For centuries, we've stared out at the ocean and just wondered, what's going on down there? Those clicks, those haunting songs, are they just random noises? Or just maybe, are we eavesdropping on the most complex non-human conversation on the entire planet? Well, let's dive in, because some incredible new research is starting to crack a code we honestly thought was unbreakable.
So that really is the big question, right? Are whales actually speaking a language? And I don't just mean simple signals, like, hey, food's over here, or watch out, danger. We're asking if their calls have real structure, if they have rules, if they have complexity, all the things that are the hallmarks of what we call language.
And believe it or not, this isn't science fiction anymore. There are these huge, ambitious projects, like the Cetacean Translation Initiative, they call it CTI, that are using cutting-edge AI and robotics to listen in and analyze these sounds on a scale we've never seen before. The mission has totally shifted from just recording whale songs to actually trying to translate them.
Okay, so to even have a prayer of decoding this, scientists have to start where anyone learning a new language starts. You've got to find the alphabet. And it looks like for sperm whales, that alphabet is made entirely of clicks.
Now, in the world of linguistics, there's a term for this. It's called phonology. It's basically the study of the basic sound units of a language. Before you can have words or sentences, you've got to find the vowels and the consonants. And, amazingly, scientists now think they've found the whale equivalent of exactly that. And this is where things get really mind-bending. When we speak, we make different vowel sounds by changing the shape of our mouth and throat, right? That creates different peaks in the sound's frequency, which we call formants. It's the physical difference between an ah sound and an e sound. Well, a recent study from a team led by a researcher named Bagoosh found that sperm whale clicks, which they arrange in little sequences called codas, do the exact same thing. They found codas with one format, they call them a-codas, and others with two formats, i-codas. It's a direct acoustic parallel to our own vowels. It's just, wow.
But wait, it gets even crazier. The parallels go so much deeper than just that. The same study found 3 more incredibly complex features. First, something called intrinsic duration. See, their A vowels are naturally longer than their I vowels, a weird little rule that's found all over human languages. Second, contrast of length. They seem to tell the difference between a short I and a long E, which is exactly how we get the different meanings in ship versus sheep. And third, coarticulation. This just means the sound of one click is affected by the click that came right before it, which is a key feature of smooth, flowing speech. This isn't just a simple ABCs. This is an alphabet with really sophisticated rules.
All right, so if they have an alphabet and it has these complex rules, are they using it to have actual conversations? I mean, really talking to each other? Let's peel back the next layer of this mystery, the rules of their social interactions and the amazing diversity of whale cultures.
And the answer seems to be a huge yes. Research from folks like Gubnitsky shows that sperm whales have structured two-way conversations. They're not just screaming into the void. They actually synchronize with each other, matching the timing and even the kind of coda their partner is using. They take turns. This back and forth creates a steady rhythm that one researcher compared to a telecommunications baud rate. It's a system designed to make sure the information flows without interruption. It's a real dialogue.
And this communication isn't the same for every whale. Just like we have different cultures and dialects, so do they. There's this amazing study by Myers and her team that looked at 2 different cultures of killer whales in the same area. First, you have the residents. They eat fish, and fish don't hear very well, so the residents are super chatty while they hunt. Then you have the transients. They hunt seals and other marine mammals that have fantastic hearing. So to be successful, they have to hunt in almost complete silence. 2 different lifestyles, 2 completely different ways of using communication.
But here's the kicker. You would think the silent hunters are just, less talkative overall. And most of the time, they are. But get this, the data showed that when they do decide to talk, which is usually right after a successful hunt, they talk way more. Look at this graph. Almost 1 call per whale per minute, more than double the rate of the so-called chatty residents. This suggests that for them, talking might be more about intense social bonding, like celebrating a win together.
So, we've got an alphabet. We have rules for conversation. We've even got distinct cultures. But the most mind-blowing discovery, the thing that connects their world to ours in a way nobody saw coming, comes from these universal laws that seem to govern the efficiency of every single human language.
The first one is called Menzerath's law. It's actually a pretty simple idea. It's a rule of efficiency.
The bigger something is, the smaller its components are. So in language, that means longer sentences tend to be built out of shorter words, and longer words are built out of shorter syllables. It's all about streamlining and making things efficient.
The second law is Zipf's law of abbreviation. This is also about efficiency, but this one is all about how often we use a word. Basically, the words we use the most, like the, I, tend to be the shortest. It makes sense, right? Why waste breath on a long word you have to say all the time? It's the principle of least effort in action.
So you've got to be wondering, could these universal human laws possibly apply to whales too? Well, according to a massive study by Mason Youngblood, the answer is an undeniable yes. He put it this way: the vocalizations of whales seem to have undergone compression for increased efficiency. In other words, they are mathematically optimizing how they talk, just like we do.
And, well, this chart is the smoking gun. This shows the strength of Menzeroth's law in human languages versus whale communication. And what you're seeing is not just that many whale species follow the law. No, look at the humpback whales. The pressure for efficiency in their communication is even stronger than it is for the average human language. This is a direct, mathematical link between how they talk and how we talk. A shared blueprint for language separated by 60 million years of evolution. It's just staggering.
So, let's just pause for a second and put all of these pieces together. We've looked at the basic building blocks, we've looked at the rules of conversation, the cultural differences, and now these fundamental, universal laws of efficiency. What does it all really mean?
When you lay it all out like this, it's pretty powerful. An alphabet-like system of sounds? Check. Rules for taking turns in a conversation? Check. Different dialects based on culture and lifestyle? Check. And, maybe the most profound of all, they follow the same universal laws of linguistic efficiency that we do? A big fat check. It's just an incredible, incredible convergence.
So here's the bottom line. When you put all this evidence together, it strongly suggests that what whales are doing isn't just a simple collection of signals. It is a highly structured, incredibly efficient, and culturally diverse system that appears to be built on the very same foundational principles as every single human language on this planet.
Which, of course, leaves us with the biggest, most exciting question of them all. For so long, we've just been listening from the surface, hearing the music but not understanding the words. Now, with all these new tools, we're finally starting to see the structure, the grammar behind it all. So, if we finally really crack this code, what on earth will they have to say to us?